Now, we'll kind of go into tying into here at Rochester Homes and what we do. Do you go into an appraisal knowing that the home has been built using modular construction?
Before I do an appraisal, a lot of times I've brought up the county tax records and I know what type of home I'm going to be appraising, just to be somewhat prepared of if how big the home is and what type the home is. But as far as a modular home versus a site-built home, we don't differentiate at all
on the outcome of the appraisal.
Right.
Okay. Yep. So if you were just to not look on the tax records, if walking into a home, is there anything that jumps out at you that you would realize it was a modular built home versus a site built home?
No, I mean, the site built home and the modular homes, for a lot of practical purposes, are pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in the basement or the crawl space and you're looking around, and the features is, the roof pitch, they're all pretty similar.
Correct. Okay. Appraisal rules are still pretty much in effect. The one thing that's changed, though, again, is secondary market rules for appraisals. There are some cases now you can qualify to not need an appraisal.
Really?
Yes. And so that's streamlining things in terms of that 45 days. We just did one that took 7 days because
what are the qualifications there? How do you get into that program?
They've been developing
all existing home stuff, I take it?
Yes.
Okay.
They've been developing statistics, data points basically from areas around the country from mortgages that they buy on values. And so they run it through a model, and if it's if they think the purchase price is close to the value they've got, and then the borrower has certain qualifications, then they can get a waiver on appraisal.
Okay.
We're really getting in the weeds here.
That's all right.
That's a positive,
I find it really interesting.
Positive change for just the housing industry in general.
Oh, yeah.
So long as it's not introducing a lot of new risk into the whole thing, which, that was a big part of the recession, was just that bubble of risk that got created.
Sure.
The stigma of condensation, what I've learned in the last year and 5 months, everybody says, oh, my windows are condensating, they're broken.
Yep. Broken windows.
Something's wrong.
They're leaking. Right?
Everybody says they're leaking
water.
Yeah. So that's and Justin said, hey, you're going to have tough conversations with people and tell them, actually, your windows are working exactly how we want them to work.
Yeah.
Because that that humidity, that moisture in the air is staying in the home.
Yeah.
Right? So with their windows are much more weather tight. Vapor barriers are better now. It's modern construction. Insulation, much better. It all plays a role in condensation. So I'm just going to tell everybody out there, if your windows are condensating, they're actually working.
Sure.
And your builder did a good job by building a tight home.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say that another kind of glass technology they've come out with that's kind of nice, that kind of goes along with that lower solar heat gain coefficient, is with that glass you get a lower, they call it transmission of UV rays or ultraviolet light. And what that's going to do is minimize the effect that the sun's rays are going to have on fading your upholstery, hardwood, carpet, that sort of thing.
That's
so
nice.
With the evolution of that lower solar heat gain glass, they've also got that transmission of ultraviolet light to like 95% blockage.
Wow.
So it's awesome. So I recommend it on southern exposures, things like that, where you're going to be getting a lot of light, especially if you got like high windows, where the sun can really damage the room over time. So,
interesting. Cool.
Lab is the most affordable, is the bottom line. Crawl space is the next most affordable.
Yeah.
There's not as much concrete.
Yeah.
That's
it's
all there is to it.
Yeah, a crawl space is essentially, a 3 or a 4 foot concrete wall that'll sit on a 24-inch footer. That'll come, depending on how your site is. You try to keep it as 12 to 16 inches above grade.
Yeah.
And then obviously you get into your basement, which is going to be just a taller wall.
Taller wall, and then you got a poured floor.
And a poured floor.
More concrete. What would you say to the customers who ask us, I'm looking to save money, so I'm going to do a half crawl, half basement?
I'd say that is not worth it.
You're not going to save money. because you still have 4 tall walls.
Well, you might save some money, but I don't think you're going to save a drastic amount of money. I guess
you're
it
going to
depends
save the
on the
money.
footprint of the house, how big of the house is.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. But you're going to save the money of the poured floor on the crawl space portion is basically what you're going to save, in essence, depending on the footprint.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to talk about, Central House fans and why I feel they are ridiculous. But
Why do you? Okay, go. I'm not going to stop you.
well, it's just it's creating a negative pressure in the house, and we've talked about it several times, and the whole thing that they're wanting is to every time you open the front door or a window, it pulls in the fresh air from outside. But
Okay, you got to back up. If you're going to go down this path, you got to back up and explain where you're at even.
Yeah, what?
You're down in the rabbit hole already. Show us the entrance.
Yeah, why are they wanting that, I guess?
well, they're wanting it to pull fresh air into the house.
Well, I know, but
it creates a negative.
I'm going back
pressure in the
further.
house.
Why did we get to the point where they were wanting a negative pressure in the house?
Because the houses are being done so tight with insulation now that air cannot get into the house.
Right.
So the envelope of the house is so tight that air cannot get in. So now some states, Michigan, I believe it's a code to put a central fan in to where it runs constantly. So then it creates a negative pressure in the house.
Well, it's code to control your air. And one method to do that is what you're talking about.
Right. Yeah, this is just one method that we offer as a code.
Yeah.
But it just creates that negative pressure in the house. You open the windows and it pulls in fresh air. But what we've always talked about is majority of the homes are going to have a garage built onto the gable end or wherever the utility room door is. So that door is really the one being opened all the time. So it's pulling the gas fumes from your lawnmower or paint that's been opened or something like that that's in your garage into your house. So it's actually creating more negatives than anything, I feel.
We need homeowners to be cognizant of the fact that when there's a negative pressure building up in their house, they need to, like you say, open a window or the front door, and that's hard to remember or to know about. Luckily, in my case, my dog opens my front door and goes outside, and I get fresh air.
Yeah, more government regulation.
Right, and it's creating affordability issues.
Yep, that's all it is.
But feather in our cap, our house, without changing any way we built as the codes caught up, was testing
Oh, absolutely.
incredibly well. So what's 2015 IECC say as far as?
But they're testing well, but a lot of it, in all fairness, has to do with the on-site builder. The ones that are testing, because
Two things have to do with that: sealing up the mainline properly with foam, and sealing up your box sill with foam.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Making sure you're not having air leakage. Yeah.
Yeah. Control your air leakage between the seam of the house touching the foundation, which is where your box sill's at,
Yep.
and control the marriage line, which is our only possible penetration of air because of all the blockaging that we do. We caulk on our walls, we spray foam our recess, we put in a heavy amount of insulation.
Yeah. For the record, I don't think if you took the caulk away from underneath your walls, I don't think you'd see a difference. But
No point in testing. It's cheap, it's quick,
yeah.
and we're testing well, so there's no point in trying that out.
Beyond that, it's kind of wide open, and depending on the affiliate and everything else. And I mean, we've done a lot of different floor plans locally here in Rochester, but the lot dictates a lot too, which I'm sure you deal with in your
Which
industry.
it does to everybody. Yeah. Side note to anyone who is listening to this, who's thinking about building a home, the lot is the boss. It is the boss. The elevation of the lot, the slope of the lot, the soil condition of the lot is the boss. I have so many people who come to me and say, hey, how much are one of your homes? That cost could vary $100,000. That might be a little exaggeration, but it can vary greatly depending on the lot. Thank you for saying that. Back to your answer.
I'm glad I could help out.
Yeah, thanks.
So yeah, I mean, and I think that's true in any home build situation. And I mean, whatever land you're dealing with is always, we've had some lots that have been donated to us. That you get out there and you really learn that, oh man, now you see why it's been donated to us. And
So what about closing thoughts, closing pitch? Anything else you want to cover today?
yeah, I mean, I guess I mean, I'd like to kind of leave everybody with 4 things to know about Habitat for Humanity. So I guess first and foremost, Habitat does not give away free homes. We get a lot of people, you know, especially as you set up a booth here locally, you know, it's like, I want a free home, and it's, no, that is not what we are as an organization. Like you said before, it's a hand up, not a handout. You're gonna have to put in the time. You're gonna have to, you know, show a good track record of, you know, credit worthiness. I'm not saying your income can be low, but you're gonna have to be responsible and fiscally responsible with your money and everything else. I guess number 2, Jimmy Carter did not found Habitat for Humanity.
It's a common misconception.
Yeah,
Those first 2 common misconceptions.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and Jimmy Carter, God bless him. I mean, he's a great advocate for Habitat for Humanity. Still is.
Absolutely.
And you know, but it was really founded by Millard and Linda Muller. You know, and he's a successful businessman out of the Atlanta area. Self-made millionaire by the age of 29. You know, businessman and lawyer, and as he got, you know, involved in the church and everything else, I mean, he decided, him and his wife both, that they were going to give up their wealth and refocus their lives on a Christian community in Southwest Georgia.
I think it was 10 or 15 days ago, maybe it was a little bit longer, we saw rates just drop, mortgage rates. And I think at one point, even the 15-year was down to maybe like a 0.2875. Really low. At the 30-year might have been down even close to 3. Am I wrong there?
No, that's correct.
Yeah, and then the coronavirus really started to impact people's ability to go to work, and it started to impact the economy. And we saw the Dow, the Nasdaq, the S&P 500 all just nosedive. Some major corporations out there that hopefully are going to get some kind of stimulus. You know, they were all nosediving, and as that nosedive occurred, you know, the Fed came out and said, hey, guns blazing, we're going to do what we can. We're going to lower our interest rates. And so we had some customers that maybe even put their new purchase on hold for a minute, thinking, hey, if the Fed rates are dropping, our rates are going to drop too. And then we saw the opposite of that happen. They were actually raised in the days after the Fed rates were officially dropped. So from your perspective, and you're obviously within the industry insight, can you just give us a background on what was going on there through that roller coaster and what's really driving the change in rates?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we had a lot of our own customers asking those same questions, Alex, about, hey, I heard that the Federal Reserve dropped interest rates to almost nothing. Should I refinance right now? And sometimes those events correlate to lower mortgage rates, and sometimes, as we saw, they don't necessarily. And really, that's just because the mortgage rates are a separate market than what the Federal Reserve was doing with the rates that they can change. And the mortgage market is really built off of the bond expectations, the bond market. And really the closest correlation that we'll have for mortgage rates, market mortgage rates out there, is that 10-year U.S. Treasury bill. That's really what, if you want to kind of understand what maybe mortgage rates might be doing from one day to the next, then we always recommend watching that 10-year U.S. Treasury. And the situation that you're referencing that happened that was so strange is when the Fed lowered those Federal Reserve rates that they loan to have banks borrow from, those mortgage rates didn't change just because the 10-year U.S. Treasury actually went up a little bit. And I think that's because the Fed came out so strong, like you said. They were very aggressive, and they came out with a large package. And the next day, they came out with even more information that they were going to be doing. And we just saw the Federal Reserve Chairman this morning on the Today Show saying, hey, we can print unlimited amounts of money, and we're doing this and we're doing that. So they're not going to drop the ball on this. And that's actually given some confidence into the bond market. Really, a market, when you define that, that's just a bunch of people kind of figuring out what their expectations are through financial transactions. That's exactly right. So really, we're talking about something that the market thinks, okay, a bond gives you a certain interest rate if you're investing in that. So how does that compare with inflation? And that's usually what prices bonds up and down is, okay, I think inflation's actually going to be better than what these bond prices are today, so I'll do this, or I think inflation's going to be worse. So I think what you saw there is a momentary confidence that maybe the economy was going to be okay because of the Fed's aggressive action, which actually caused mortgage rates to go up a little bit.
Okay. So, it sounds like because there's a long-term confidence that the Fed was doing the right things and that the government maybe has been doing the right things is the reason we've seen it inch back up. So, one, I appreciate all that info. It's so helpful. I think you even told me some of that during our last conversation, but it's just hard for myself and I assume other people too to not just tie that Fed rate into, oh, that's what my mortgage rate is going to act like. I always go back there, but hopefully one of these days you'll ingrain this in me and I'll start looking at the 10-year treasury number.
I think it takes 7 times to hear something till you remember it, Alex. So good luck on that.
6 more podcasts, 5 more podcasts will be good. I'll stop wasting your time then. So, talk a little bit about, what I should shop. What questions should I ask if I'm going to build a new home? Okay, I'm a customer who's gotten onto Rochester Homes website and I'm listening to this podcast because I'm getting ready to build my dream home. What do I do to shop for the best insurance broker I can find? Not just in our area. Obviously, if you're in our area, call on Blake. He'll give you a great quote. But
that's my answer. But
if you're not in Fulton County, if you're not in Indiana, how do you start?
You already have an insurance guide, most likely. Whether it's even if you're renting, you still have car insurance. You still have maybe a renter's policy. If you trust that person, that's the big thing when you ask me is trust. Mm-hmm. You don't want somebody, not even necessarily someone you don't know. Referrals are big. Ask your neighbor if you trust him. Hey, who's your insurance guy? Is he a nice guy? Do you trust him? Is it based on price? Some people are price based. Mm-hmm. They are going to buy the cheapest insurance they can. That's okay. At the end of the day, it's their policy. Mm-hmm. They do what they want. Some people are more service-based. At Farm Bureau, for instance, we are never going to be the cheapest insurance place out there. We are not a cut rate insurance to where, the claims guys are in our office. I had somebody that I knew that had a tree fall in their house and that adjuster came from North Carolina or something. There's nothing wrong with that. You still have an adjuster and the claim is still being paid, but do you want local service? Some people local's huge. Some people it's not. At the end of the day, I think I already said it, it depends on what you want out of your policy. You want to make sure that they're a good rated insurance company. But other than that, it's more the person you choose more so than the insurance you choose.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. If you know me personally, which I get my insurance through Blake, obviously, and since you know me, you're able to say, like, hey, Alex, that new thing you bought, like, you forgot to tell me about that.
Yeah.
I hadn't covered it for you.
Like your van.
Yeah. I forgot.